Today, I'm going to show you how you can harness the single best marketing tool for you and your brewery. It's email marketing. I want to focus in on the subject line, its purpose. I want to look at some potential subject lines. Some of these you might be able to use directly in your business or with just some minor tweaking. And then we're going to look at some best practices that you can use. I got to tell you, I'm all in on email marketing for 2025, specifically for breweries. I believe this is a lever. It's going to turn out to be maybe the most important tool that you have for your business. And if you've been avoiding it up to now, I get it. But you've got to start using it, because I'll be frank with you. I think it's going to influence maybe who wins and who loses. It's that big an option because you have control. You decide when the message goes and exactly who gets it. So to help you put this into your toolbox for 2025, I want to share my email marketing guide with you. Right now, in the comments, just put email and I'll make sure you get a copy of it for free, because I think this vehicle, meaning email marketing, is what's going to put you over the top. Let's dive into it. Before diving in on how to create what makes a good email subject line or a poor one, let's first talk about the purpose of the subject line. It has one goal, but it's a super important one. The goal of that subject line in your email is to get folks to go, I want to read more about that. That's it, though. It's not designed to wrap anybody up. It's not designed someone reads the subject line and goes, I'm doing something or I'm not doing something. I'm going to be there or I'm not. Its purpose is to get you to open that up and read it. But that purpose can't be overstated, because without a good subject line, no matter how good the email is, it's going to, campaign-wise, probably fall on its face. Because a great message that reaches nobody, is it great? And, the campaign itself won't be, right? It's got to get folks to open that up. And every great email campaign has to have a great subject line. Because without a high open rate, you're not going to have a successful campaign. And it's certainly, of course, not going to succeed like it could if more people opened it up. So when you're talking about your email subject line, you want to prioritize clarity and you want to stay relevant. First of all, keep things short. Keep it under 50 characters, ideally 3 or 4 words, because you also want to make sure, think about your subject line when someone's looking at their emails on their phone. If you've got a 25-word subject line, they're not going to see all of that. So your thought process that went in behind building that subject line isn't going to get across. You want to front load, meaning the first 30 characters are going to matter the most. Again, because those are the things everybody's going to see. And the other thing, meaning relevance, we want to make sure you're matching your content with what people are going to experience when they open up the email. You don't want to have misleading or overly vague subject lines. Let's look at some short and clear subject lines. You could have something like new IPA drops today, or exclusive beer club invite, limited offer, seasonal stout. These are concise, short subject lines. They get their point across immediately, and the recipient will want to open it because as long as it's relevant to them, they clearly got your message. Let's talk about front-loading those important words. Some examples could be limited offer, seasonal stout, or new arrival, summer ale. How about exclusive event, brewery tour? When you put those keywords up front, limited offer, new arrival, exclusive event, this ensures that these most important things and the messages you're getting across are there in the subject line. This seasonal stout, not going to be around forever. There's a brand new summer ale here. Or this brewery tour, this is an exclusive event. Now let's talk about matching that content. Some examples could be join us for a virtual tasting tour. Or another one could be behind the scenes at Joe's Brewing. Third one to think about, maybe discover our brewing process. Now, as long as the email content matches up, and I think just from those subject lines, you clearly know what each of those emails should be about, right? First one, we talked about tasting. There's an event that's tied to tasting. It's virtual. That could be something where you're being sent things and you'll taste them in a virtual setup. That's something that became popular during COVID. Something maybe folks might want to try again. Maybe, maybe not. Other thing, behind the scenes at the brewery. So once I open up that email, I'm going to be like, gosh, there's some stuff I didn't know. I'm getting a peek behind the curtain, so to speak. Same kind of concept with that discover our brewing process. Another thing to think about is industry specific content. Something like join us for Freaky Sock Friday or Hop Harvest specials inside. These are just a couple of examples of things that are tied to the industry. You know, folks might expect something like that from you if it's tied into your brand. Creating a sense of urgency is a great technique to use in your subject lines. Could be something like last call, order before 5 p.m. That's pretty straightforward, isn't it? 5 p.m., whatever the subject matter in that email is about, it's not going to be available anymore. Limited time offer, 2-for-1 IPAs. You've clearly told people exactly what's happening. For a small period of time, there'll be a 2-for-1 offer. Or how about don't miss out? Happy hour deals today. You're letting folks know there is a happy hour today. You don't want to miss out. There are deals being done. The email will support all of those things. So folks will get the reward of what you're offering them in the subject line by reading it. Personalization is a powerful tool to use in all elements of marketing, and subject lines aren't any different. You could have cheers, Sally, exclusive beers await. That could be a subject line, right? Or Tom, join fellow beer lovers at our next event. Or it could be something like your guide to craft beer pairings. When you personalize it, it makes the email seem more genuine, more a one-to-one experience for the person receiving it. Additionally, when folks are scanning through their emails, I don't know if you're like me, I get thousands of emails a day. And if my name is there, my eye is just going to go to it. So it's a way of kind of popping out amongst the masses of emails that inevitably your email is going to be in. Here's a very important concept that I want to address. The idea of balancing creativity with clarity. You know, a lot of brewers, not just their subject lines, not just their emails, but pretty much all their marketing, sometimes the creativity becomes too much. You're not making a work of art. You're sending a marketing message to customers, and you want to make sure you get a clear and concise message across. Some ideas of maybe getting too creative for the sake of creativity might be hop into happiness. See what I mean? I mean, yes, hops are part of brewing, right? But also, what I'm going to jump up and down? Is this going to be a dance party? I mean, and the happiness is vague. What does that mean? I'm going to be happy. Where is happiness coming from? So please be direct and make sure someone understands from your subject line exactly what's going to happen when they go into your email. Super important. And if you're vague in the beginning, you're going to lose some of those folks. I've got multiple videos about email marketing. I want you to check this one out when you're done with this video, because I think what you're going to find in this segmentation is massive. Because when you're building your email list, you don't want to just throw everybody into the same bucket. If you're not doing that now on your email list building, start to do it yesterday. Examples how segmentation can play out at the subject line level. Let's say you've got loyal customers, right? And they could a special email for them. Your exclusive invite to insert your brewery name, game night. Doing a game night, you're giving your best customers an exclusive invite into that. Now, the other side of it could be brand new subscribers to your email list. Your subject line could be first time, here's a free beer. Now what you've done is you've incentivized them to come back. You've also now made a touch point with them via your email list. That would be a great email to have that automatically gets sent to folks once they opt in onto your email list. There's huge benefits to getting folks to open up an email that first time. It lets A lot of the email providers, including the big guys like Google, know that you have a relationship with the person who you've sent that email to, and it will lead you to get across their entire platform more opens. They measure those types of things, and if a bunch of your emails never get open, you get tucked away into the wild, wild west, lost at sea in the spam folders of people. So when you do get folks to sign up and jump on your email list, make sure they get an email right away with something that makes them want to open it, i.e., that free beer. Every marketing campaign will underproduce if you don't have a great call to action. And putting a call to action in that subject line is a powerful tool. You don't want to be overt, it needs to be kind of subtle. But if you do it right, it will increase open rates. An example could be try it today. Our new winter ale awaits. Or reserve your spot for the brewery tour. That try it today is really powerful. I think it's really good because try puts the onus on them, but you're telling them to do something today. You want them to take action. So you can see it's a great combination of 3 words that get you there. And you've, of course, explained what it is you want them to try, that new winter ale. Advertising and marketing will always work better for you and your business if you have some testing involved. Most email software platforms allow you to A/B test your subject lines. And this is something I can't stress enough I want you to do, because finding out the tonnage and the types of subject lines resonate best with your email list is going to lead you to get more opens, get more customers to come in the door, and you'll sell more product. And that's something that we have to make a priority of going forward, right? So an example of 2 types of email subject lines you could use for the same email would be, one could be new IPA drops today. You're clearly saying there's going to be a new IPA available today. That's very straightforward. Next thing to kind of test against that would be something with a little bit more flavor, a little bit twist on the same concept. That the same concept is key here. This is, let's say, fresh from the tank, try our IPA. It's fresh from the tank, meaning it just came out. So it's new, just like in the first one, but it's got a little bit more flavor to it. It's not that short and sweet version. So you try both of those and you start to measure and you keep track of that. And then what you're going to see is what types of subject lines get me the most opens. Because if you could buy that, I'd recommend you do it. And I don't even know what the price would be. And if it was a lot, it would still be worth it. Because understanding how you can best get the people on your list to open up your email will lead you to selling more product and generating more revenue. Let's talk about best practices next. These are some things I don't want you to do with your subject lines. Don't use all caps or a bunch of wild punctuation. All caps comes off as shouting. It also is harder for people to read. It can oftentimes repel the eye. These are all things that have been measured and tested. This is data that people have from email marketing. All the punctuation, same type of thing. It's just too much. Remember, you want the purpose is for me, the recipient of your email, to want to open it up and read it. Once you've got that in place, win for the subject line. Don't combine question marks and exclamation points in your subject line. It's occasionally okay in the content of your email, but do not do that in the subject line. Don't write overtly clickbait or fear-mongering subject lines. Your brewery is about having great beer, enjoying yourself, and relaxing. Don't try and get to the point where maybe it'll get a few more clicks if you had some fear-mongering in there, but it's not a good business practice. And to be frank with you, as many people as it'll attract, it'll probably repel even more. Don't go there. That's not worth it. It's hard enough to get folks into your email list. Keep them and treat them well in there. Avoid industry jargon or vague buzzwords that really don't resonate. When you write your subject line, it should clearly have some of the elements we've talked about, but it should be straightforward and it gets people to understand what I'm going to receive when I open it up. If it's jargon that I don't even know what means, if it's if you only would know that word if you brew craft beer at a large scale. Well, that could be 5 out of 5,000 people on your email list. And I can promise you, if the subject line only resonates with that tiny percentage of your list, your open rate's going to be terrible. So don't do that. Now, some things I always want you to do is be authentic and be relatable. Every bit of messaging should be tied to your branding. And I've got this video here. If you've not watched that, I definitely want you to see that, because in this video, I talk about how creating your authentic brand, how to get it right, and then how it needs to be resonated throughout all of your marketing. And that even includes the subject line of each and every email that you put out there. Next thing I want you to always do is focus on the recipient. Their needs, their wants, their desires. If you have that in mind and you can tie into that through your subject line, a lot more openings are going to happen. People are going to read those emails. But if it's all about me, if it's all about you and your brewery, then no, it's going to underperform what it could be. And as we were talking about before, always test. A/B test every subject line and keep track of things and understand what winners and losers are from that element and refine that and get better and better. And you'll find that you'll get amazing open rates. In 2025, email marketing, because it's on-demand marketing, you pick when they get it and how they get it and what that message says. And that's not something you can always do on whether it's social media or any other type of Google or anywhere else you might advertise. So 2025 needs to be heavily supported by email marketing. I've got resources for you to make sure that happens. Right now, put email in the subject line if you've not done that yet, because I want to get you some of these resources so you can start doing this. If you do have questions down below, let me know, because as I said, email marketing is super important. There are nuances and elements that you have to do right to win at it. And I want to make sure you have all of those things so you can make 2025 the best year yet. Until my next video, cheers.